working on in your writing? What kind of writing do you do? Yes, sir.
Sometimes at ing.
All right, so those are skills, right? ING. But what kind of writing are you doing? What kind are you writing stories? What are you doing? What kind of writing have you been doing? Yes.
Dialogue.
Oh, you've been putting dialogue in, the skills. Yep. What? Yep.
Stories.
All right, you're writing stories, aren't you? And what do all stories have? You started talking about it. What do stories have? Yes, sir.
Capital.
Yes, yep, those are skills, but I'm wondering what a story, how do you know when a story is a story? Yep, it has capital letters certainly and things like that, but what's a story have in it? Yes.
Pictures.
It does have pictures, yep, but most books have pictures and stuff, but I'm thinking just about a story. What does a story have? Yes.
Beginning, middle, and end.
Okay, a story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. What else does a story have? Not all books have a beginning, middle, and end, but stories do. Yes, Mike, who's that down there? I can't see. Okay, what else do stories have? Are you saying something? You forgot, okay. What else does a story have?
A problem.
It does have a problem. And where do you find the problem usually? In the beginning, the middle, or the end?
The
In the middle. I love that. What else is in a story? Because not all pieces you read have problems. The one I'm going to do today doesn't have a problem.
Details.
Okay, but what kind of details? We have to be explicit. What kind of details do we see? Just any old detail?
No.
Yes.
Color.
Say it again. Okay, colors. We see description. We see adjectives, adverbs. What else do we see?
Fluency.
Say it again.
Fluency.
All right. Yep. We see fluency because we write different kinds of sentences, right? Yes.
Nonfiction.
Well, is nonfiction a story
No.
or is it information?
Information.
All right. That's what I'm trying to get to. A story has beginning, middle, and end. It has characters. Have you heard of those characters? It has a setting. It has a problem or a significant event, and it's got the details. And the details are description, adjective, adverbs like color and texture, and telling how big something is, how small something is. You've got a detail of dialogue, and you have sensory details: how things smell, how do you hear? What are you hearing? Things like that. Yes, Wyatt.
The plot.
And it has a plot. Beautiful, right? That's part of that beginning, middle, and end. But today, I'm not writing a story. I'm gonna show you something that I learned, some information that I learned. Do you guys ever learn any information?
Yes.
When you learn information and things, it's not about a beginning, middle, and end. It's not about a character. It's just some facts that you learned. And so I want to talk to you about something that I just kind of learned. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to write it up a little bit, right? Last week I was driving in my car listening to the radio when I heard the radio person talk about a mini moon. Ever hear of it? A mini moon? No. And that I didn't either. I wasn't quite sure what they were talking about. So do you know what I did when I got home? I decided to do a little research, right? You know what research is?
Yes.
It's when you find out some more information. So I looked up mini moon, and this is kind of a couple of things that I found. The first thing, I went to the internet. I couldn't get to the library, but I printed out the first thing I saw that talked about a mini moon. And when I read this, I said, oh, there's only one thing on here that made me really think about a mini moon. And it said this one right here, I highlighted it. It said our first full moon of 2014. What year is it?
2014.
All right, so just this year, our first moon of 2014 is being dubbed the mini moon, which is, this was a mistake, it's about 30,000 miles from the Earth. What it meant to say is 30,000 miles further than usually where the moon is, right? But I read everything else, and it didn't really say anything about a mini moon, right? So I thought, oh, I better go do some more. So I went looking around, and then I found this one. And it gave me a little bit more information. And it said right here, the moon's elliptical orbit, which made me think, do you know what elliptical means? It means it's kind of, it's a circle, but it's kind of an egg shape. It's kind of oval. It's not a circle, right? That its elliptical orbit around the Earth reached its apogee. I didn't even know what that word was. And then told me it's the point where the moon is the farthest away from us in its orbit. So a mini moon is actually further away because it's kind of at that egg, the tip of the egg, versus the bottom of the egg. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
And so I didn't know this. Did any of you know this?
No.
Okay. And then I found this. It says, while not nearly as spectacular as last year's supermoon, and of course I didn't know there was a supermoon. So if a mini moon is the smallest, the moon at the smallest moon, what do you think a supermoon is? It's a super big moon because the moon is closer to Earth. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
All right, and then I kind of fooled around with it, and I kind of did this diagram right here, right? What is this right here? This is Earth. What's this circle right here, which is an elliptical circle?
Orbit.
It's the orbit, I labeled it. And look if it's a mini moon, it's here, right? Is that the farthest point away from the Earth? And look this is the closest part, right? And if it's a full moon here, it looks bigger and it's called a super moon. So anyways, that's my research. What do you think about that? Oh, but I had one more question and I decided to do this. Does anybody know about the phases of the moon? When I talk about a full moon, I wasn't quite sure about that. Do you know about the phases of the moon? What do you know about phases of moons?
Quarter moon.
Yes, sir? I didn't know this stuff.
There's a half moon.
Yes, sir?
And there's a.
How do you know so much about phases of the moon? That's pretty good. Do you know about phases of moons too? What do you know about them?
The first moon would be the new moon. The second moon would be the quarter.
Yeah.
And there's actually a half. And the 1 minute orbit.
Yeah.
The next one.
Okay, yeah.
The next one would be the full.
Yeah.
Then it goes all over.
Yeah, it goes, that's why it's phases, it's a cycle, right? It goes round and round. How'd you know this?
I actually have
Oh, you see, so it's something, are you interested in the sky, in the moon and stars? Well, I kinda am interested in the moon, so when I heard mini moon, I thought, oh, I gotta check this out, right? All right, so do you wanna see what I did? You wanna see my notes? If I could find them here and all my stuff. Oh my word. Oh, here they are. I was going to say, I think I might have forgotten my notes. So when I read this, I took some notes. And this is these are my notes. And all I wrote is this down here. Mini moon, and I put full moon furthest away from Earth. Super moon, full moon closest to Earth. And then I put the moon's orbit, I need to put an apostrophe there, equals an oval. It's not really a circle, right? It's kind of egg-shaped. And then this is the other thing I learned, the main phases, and it's exactly what these guys were talking about. I put a new moon, and this is kind of what a new moon is. The Earth, the moon is in between the Earth and the sun. In a full moon, the moon is in back of Earth and then the sun. In the first quarter, the moon is to the side of Earth and the sun is up here. And in the third quarter, the moon is on the other side of the Earth and the sun is out here. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
That's what I learned. That's what I learned. What do you think about that? Is that cool? All right. And then here's what I did so far. I decided this is my information, this is my research, but I had to give an introduction this is where the facts are, but I had to introduce it, and I was thinking, how am I gonna start this paper off? And I go, I know. I've heard of a blue moon. Have you ever heard of a blue moon?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of a harvest moon?
Yes.
I have too. Have you ever heard of a full moon?
Yes.
Yes. Have you ever heard of a crescent moon?
Yes.
Have you ever heard about the man on the moon?
Yes.
You too? But I've never heard of a mini moon, and that's why I put that question mark there. This is my introduction. And then I wrote, after I do that, I could say, what is a mini moon, right? And then I'm gonna get into my facts. What do you think? Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, and look at what I have right here. I started my paper already. This is how I'm gonna start my paper off. A blue moon, a harvest moon, a crescent moon, even a man in the moon. But a mini moon? What is a mini moon? Is that a good way to start this off? What do you think? Do you like this introduction as a way to begin it? What do you think? You don't think so? Could you think of how would you start this off if you were going to tell people about a mini moon? How could you begin it?
I was thinking a mini moon is probably really small.
Okay. Okay. So you're going to be much more direct, right? You're going to say a mini moon is a small moon and this is what I learned or something like that, right? You're going to be, that's how you would start it off? Yep, I want to give people, I want to make people kind of be interested in my story, so that's why, or my piece, that's why I put it that way. Anybody else think they would start it some other way? Well, I got to tell you, right now, look at my plan. Did I say blue moon, harvest moon, full moon, crescent moon, man on the moon, and mini moon? Did I use that in my introduction? Did I use all of that? Can I put a check mark right here
Yes.
because I used it? Did I put mini moon with a question mark?
Yes.
I did right here. So can I put a check mark?
Yes.
And did I use this question? What is a mini moon?
Yes.
I did right here. So guess what?
Sure.
Is my introduction done?
Yes.
I love that. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. I like crossing things off my list, right? All right. Can I tell you where I'm stuck right now, though? Do you ever get stuck with writing?
Yes.
If you look at my plan, where do you think I'm stuck? Yes. Can you talk? Can you give me the? What's the title of where I'm stuck? What's the?
Body.
Well, I think I have the body pretty much set.
Introduction.
Well, I think I have my introduction set. Where do you think I'm stuck? Yes, my dear? Well, yes, I don't have the illustration, but you know what? I kind of know what my illustration's going to be. I think I'm going to do this illustration right here. So you're right, I don't have my illustration, so maybe I can do that right now. So this is, after I write this up, this is the picture I'm going to draw. What is this? So I have to label it, and then I have to do and sometimes I like to do this little thing right here. It's not perfect, but does that look like North America and South America a little bit? All right, and then I'm going to do the orbit, and I got to make sure I make it look like an egg, right? And then what's going to go here?
Mini moon.
The mini moon, so I'm going to label it
Mini
moon. And what's going to go here? Super moon. And I better label the orbit, right? So I'll label this, so they know that's the moon's orbit. And then, do you remember that hard word that I learned?
Orbit.
No, it wasn't orbit. It was this word right here.
Object.
I love it. I love that somebody tried it. Say apogee.
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 Apogee means it's a point the farthest away. And this is apogee right here. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to write apogee right there and draw a little arrow. What do you think? Who can tell me what apogee means? I want you to go home today and use that word apogee when you get home with your families. What does apogee mean? Do you want to try it, sir?
Far away.
Okay, the point farthest away from something, right, is an apogee. So the mini moon is at apogee, right, when it's out here. Is it apogee here?
No.
No. All right. So now, where am I stuck, people? Who can tell me by looking? This is where I'm having trouble. Yes, sir. Yes, but look at the word. Can you read that word that's there? I know it's hard, but I want you to think about what's the word down there. Where am I stuck? My conclusion, right? This is not a story. It doesn't have a beginning, middle, and end. Look what it has. It has introduction, which is like the beginning. It has a body, which is like the middle, and it has a conclusion, which is the end. Guess what I'm stuck on? The conclusion. When I write a piece, I need to make it sound like it's over. And that's what I'm stuck on. I have my introduction. I even wrote my introduction. I'm fairly happy with my introduction. I have my facts that I'm going to start writing now. But can anybody think about how I might conclude this piece? Thinking about the fact that it's about a mini moon. Well, let me tell you, I was kind of trying to figure things out in my head what it could be, and I was thinking this. I was thinking something like if I use the word universe, right? Does that make sense? The universe. I could talk about the universe as a very interesting place, and that I always like to keep my eyes peeled to the sky. What does that mean? Keep your eyes peeled to the sky. Yes. What does it mean?
Keep your eyes open.
Yes. Keep looking up and keep your eyes open because you might see some interesting things. Do you think that sounds like it might be a good conclusion?
Yes. Yeah.
So, how am I going to write my notes? I'm not going to write the whole thing out because this is my plan. What could I write for a note in my conclusion? Well, I use this word. I use universe, so I could talk about the universe being what? Oh, I could do this. Do you know this sign? Equals. Universe equals what?
Mini moon.
Oh, how about, I didn't say mini moon, I said this.
Interesting.
Didn't I say that it could be the universe is an interesting place? And then I said something else that I could talk about at the end. What else did I say? Who remembers? Oh, I remember. It has something to do with your eyes. All right. What could I write for a note right now that would remind me that I want to say that?
Keep your eyes closed.
That's a sentence. I don't want a sentence. I want just one or two words to remind me. I'm not going to write my story out now. What could I say just to remind me? Well, that's a sentence. Yes?
Eyes open.
Eyes opened, but I like the word peeled, so I might go like this. How about if I just do this? Eyes. What do you think? Would that be enough to remind me to say that? Okay. Look what I've just done. I've got my whole plan done. Now, can you tell by looking at my check marks, where am I in my plan? What's the next thing I'm going to start to write? Oh, I forgot one thing. Yes, sir. Well, this is not a story. I'm going to write down my... What are these?
Check.
It's not a story. Is this a story, or are these ideas or facts?
Facts.
Oh, so what am I going to write down?
Facts.
My facts. But I just thought, I better check this, because you know what I want to do first? I think I have to think about, is this the right order? I think I want to write about this first, because I think people might need to know about the phases. So look if I do this. that I might write about the phases first? How about this? What do you think I might write about second? I think about the orbit, and then, I don't know, I think I have to write about the mini-moon first, and then the supermoon fourth. What do you think, like that? All right, and let me just do one, I'm going to do one sentence, then I'm going to stop. So, which one am I going to write first? Well, I've got my introduction already written. I'm at my facts. Which fact am I going to write first? Which fact? Look up there. What fact am I going to... Mini-moon says 3. All right, I'm going to write about the main phases, right? Watch this. A blue moon, a harvest moon, a crescent moon, even a man in the moon. But a mini-moon? What is a mini-moon? What word's coming up next? What word's coming up next? Somebody read this for me. Here, look at my notes. I'm on this part right here. What am I going to say next? Say it again. Main phases. All right, that's why a plan's helpful. The moon has 4 main phases. What goes at the end of that? A period, right. All right, because I got to make sure. Now I'm going to go like this. All right, can I put a cha-ching there?
Yeah.
All right, what am I going to start with next?
The moon.
The new moon, right. The new moon, maybe I'll say this. Oh, wait a minute, because, I'm sorry, I make a mistake sometimes. That's why I skip lines, so if I make a mistake, I can fix myself. Let me go. The new moon phase is when the moon is hard to see because the... I'm going to try this. To see. See, this is the sun's rays right here. So can I put a check mark after that?
Yes.
All right, last sentence I'm going to write for right now. What's the next sentence? What's the next fact I'm going to write right now? Full moon. All right, watch this. I got to go back to read so I make sure it makes sense. The moon has 4 main phases. Oh, I made a mistake. Right? Does that make sense? The moon has 4 main phases.
No.
What's missing? What do I need to do? Right, because it's more than one, right? So I got to put an S. I think I'll just do it right here. The moon has 4 main phases. The new moon phase is when the moon is hard to see because the sun's rays make it hard to see. Uh-oh. But that's I think I use the same thing over and over again, right? Because the sun's rays... Let me see. The new moon phase is when the moon is hard to see because the sun's rays... Maybe I'll try this. This is why I skip lines. Block it. Maybe I'll try this. All right. I don't want to say the same words over and over again, right? Does this make sense? The new moon phase is when the moon is hard to see because the sun's rays block it out. Make sense? All right, now the full moon. What word's coming up next? Read it. What word would come next? The full moon Oh, I like that. Some people are thinking about what's coming up next. The full moon phase. What do you think it is? Oh, maybe this word? Does that make sense? All right. Can I check this off? All right. I'm going to stop here, but what would be my next thing right now? First. What is that? What's this letter? All right, it's a Q for quarter. I'm not writing it out because these are my notes. When I write over here, do I have to write out the word first?
Yes.
Yes. Do I have to write out the word quarter?
No. Yes.
Yes, I do. All right. So anyways, let me just read what I have and we're going to stop right now. A blue moon, a harvest moon, a crescent moon, even a man in the moon. But a mini moon, what is a mini moon? The moon has 4 main phases. The new moon phase is when the moon is hard to see because the sun's rays block it out. The full moon phase is when the Earth's shadow is cast on the moon. I think I need to say more about that because you get to see the whole moon, right? Because you get it, the Earth is blocking out the sun's rays. So I think I need to say that. But I'm going to stop right now. All right, what do you think about my informational writing? Am I giving you the facts?
Yes.
Am I telling you what I learned?
Yes.
All right. How is it different than a story? How is this different than a story? Yes, sir. There's no beginning, middle, and end. How else is this like a story? Not like a story. It doesn't have a beginning, middle, and end. I love that. What else is it? Doesn't have characters, smarty pants. What else?
It doesn't have a problem.
It doesn't have a problem. That's right. What else is it different from a narrative? Yes, Emma Lynn.
It tells you real facts.
It tells you real facts. And how about, does a narrative tell us real facts?
No.
Not really. It tells us a story. It doesn't give us facts, informational facts, right? How else?
It wasn't. It didn't happen anywhere.
Okay, so it doesn't really necessarily have a setting like in a story, right? I love this. This is great. What else, Wyatt?
There's no illustration.
Oh, well, there's going to be a different kind of an illustration, isn't there? Because remember, I'm going to do this. But isn't the illustration going to give us more information here? Yeah. So, what do you think, my dear?
It was true.
It is true, right? This is some facts that it's something I learned, right? And I'm telling you, it comes from thinking and reading and listening, and these are facts. It's something that is real, right? Not something that I'm thinking in my head, right? What did you want to say?
Planets, they have their own moons. And
Yes.
I think that's just a new moon.
Say that again.
Planets, they have their own moons, and I think that's just a new moon.
Oh, you think so? Yeah, for other planets? I think other planets have different planets, different moon cycles than we do. But yeah, they do have their own moons. All right, you guys did a great job. And I'm going to finish this later when I'm done with you.